Hello, everyone. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you. As you grow at the Golden Boot, so do our needs, but we cannot do it without you. We ask that you continue to like our posts, share our content, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. You may also visit thegoldenboot.com for the latest merch. If you would like to make a financial donation, you can do so through Cash App at @GoldenBoot or through PayPal at paypal.me/GoldenBoot. We look forward to bringing you more laughs, knowledge, and entertainment. And again, thank you for your endless support. Sincerely and respectfully, the Golden Boot team.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back to another edition of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bear. I got my fellas, my brothers, and Petty Murphy in the building. We got Daniel D. Williams in the building. Gentlemen,
what's that?
What's good? It's been a minute for this show, and we had a national championship.
Yeah, we did.
Well, in name only. Georgia came out and they used to say, you know what I'm saying, beat them like they stole some, beat them like they owed them money. This was, I don't know what to say. I don't know.
They beat them like talking about their
mama. Yeah, they were talking about their mama or what. But Georgia beat the absolute brakes off of TCU.
You could sum it up like this. Georgia scored as many touchdowns as TCU got first downs. And that's all the recap you need of how that game went.
the LSU versus Alabama game in 2011.
What I saw Monday
time.
was the worst national championship I've ever seen in my life.
It
was worse than Notre Dame.
Exactly.
It was worse than USC Oklahoma. It was worse than LSU Alabama. It was worse than any national championship
I've never seen it be down this bad. Yeah,
I mean, it was the worst in national championship history.
National championship. Yeah. We
it was the worst in bowl game history.
Yes. So LSU 2 days or a few days prior, a week prior actually, set the record for the largest margin of victory in a bowl game, winning 63-7 over Purdue, which is what, 56 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Georgia said, "Hold my bill." Yeah. But that brings us to the question, because we asked this after the semifinal game. Did the college playoff committee did they get it right?
Yep.
Yeah, you get no argument from me on that.
I don't see how, in hindsight, you can go back and say, "Oh, they didn't get it right." You know what I mean? Going into the game after TCU beat Michigan, everybody said TCU deserved to be there.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
So just because they get blown out, does that mean they no longer deserve to be there? Now, they still deserve to be there. They just earned the right to get whooped by 58 points. That's all it was. You know what I mean? But I feel like the whole Alabama should have. Now, I'll say this. I think Alabama would have gave Georgia a better game. I do think that. But I feel like Alabama didn't deserve to be there because Alabama didn't earn the right to be there. Alabama cost them the chance to be there.
Right.
I am so sick of seeing Alabama players doing TikToks with saying stuff about, you know, saying put us in the playoffs and stuff. How about you TikTok your ass on the field, make a play, and be in the game?
Like nobody can tell me a win that Alabama had this year that was better than some of the wins TCU had. Like you can't.
Right. I mean, then even looking at that Michigan game, you know, they earned it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just used too much juice. They just used too much juice trying to beat Michigan.
Let me say this. I do want to say this. People talk about did they deserve to be there and all that. It almost looked like Georgia didn't deserve to be there a week prior against Ohio State.
That's
fair. I can't say that. I cannot. I ain't
gonna say they didn't deserve to be there.
But I'm just saying like, it was like
if Georgia, I mean, if a field goal goes 20 yards more to the right, because he kind of missed that pretty badly. But if it goes 20 yards further to the right and Ohio State makes that, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if Marvin Harrison don't get hurt.
That's true, but I'm just saying it still came down to a field goal. So even with him getting, but I just feel like it's easy to play hindsight, you know what I mean, and be like, oh, it should have been this, it should have been that. Nobody was saying that before the
game. Facts.
Our good friend Andrew Paul's Hub Martin says Alabama players and fans have this thing called entitlement.
Just a little bit of it.
They do. I mean, we're gonna get to it because it's another fan base got some entitlement too.
To their credit, though, if I hadn't had a season with under 10 wins since 2007, I'd be a little entitled too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm just
most definitely.
You get used to winning.
Exactly.
Yeah. Big Precious says they got it right, but the Big 12 and Big 10 didn't perform well. Agree there. It's funny.
I can't say the Big 10 didn't perform well because they just lost, but they lost in close games.
I said like
Big 12 made it, and the Big 12 made it to the championship game. So
that's true.
Right.
But Lamar Average said no, they didn't. I agree to disagree. So because my thing is, who you gonna put in though?
Yeah. Hey, but look, I'll tell you like this. Normally,
you said that's your pops.
Yeah.
Oh,
go
ahead and subscribe, Pop. Make sure you subscribe. I'm sure you already are.
Normally, we're used to seeing blowouts in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Unmatched games. But, of course, this year, it's kind of flip-flop.
Flip-flop,
you know? Yeah, so...
It ain't no difference.
That still was a bad performance.
So, okay, go ahead, Pooh.
I was going to say, let me ask this. With that being said, should the committee take and start... pairing differently?
Well, see, this is the thing, because that's where I was gonna go. Should they have put TCU at 4, and then we would have got the blowout in the semifinals,
and then
you could have got Ohio State, Georgia for the national, or Michigan, Georgia for the national championship.
You would have got Ohio State versus Georgia.
Oh, maybe, but check this out. How many people want to see a rematch of Michigan and Ohio State for the semifinals? If they play for the national championship, then they earn the right to play for the national championship. You see what I'm saying? But if you just give them a rematch in the semifinals, a lot of the country, casual fans, so to speak, aren't gonna want to see it unless they earn that right to rematch.
Hey, like I said, whenever they played early in the season, I still believe that Ohio State was the better team than Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. That's really not what I'm going here with. What I'm saying is like just like whenever Alabama and Georgia make it, they don't put them. And like they don't put them to play in the first round. You got to earn that right to rematch. You see what I'm saying? So no different than Ohio State and Michigan this year. I think that's why they put Ohio State 4. It's because Ohio State had to earn the right to get that rematch with Michigan instead of just giving them a rematch. Even though if they would have put Ohio State at 3, TCU at 4, it would have got the blowout out of the way and not in the national championship game. It's still, it's like, you know, it's a catch-22 in a way. It's a pro and con for both sides.
Right. And then it's not fair to TCU also. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they lost the conference championship game. It didn't drop. So you could say if they would have went from 3 to 4, they would have dropped one spot because they lost their conference championship game, which is not going to say, I'm not going to say that's not fair. I mean, because any other time you lose, you drop.
I mean, it's fair they stayed in. Is it fair that they stayed in the playoff conversation? Period.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, they still stayed.
No. I'm just saying, but they lost. So,
yeah,
I still think they got it right.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, yeah.
It was just Georgia, man.
Yeah. Now it does bring this. Just because they got it right does not mean. And I'm gonna ask this next question: do fans have a right or a reason to be disappointed?
I mean, not really.
You can be
I
disappointed.
think they got a right to be disappointed.
I mean, you can be disappointed, but like, who you gonna be disappointed at? TCU for not showing up?
I mean,
be disappointed in TCU running the 3-3-5.
I mean, they've done that all year.
I know.
I think I'm more. I think I'm more
You
disappointed.
can't say they need to change it up if they made it to the national championship.
30s. What was it after the first quarter? 24-7.
That ain't all on the defense though.
Man,
I think I'm more. You can be disappointed that we didn't necessarily see a healthy Max Duggan.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because everybody. I mean, it was obvious he wasn't himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
For sure.
I don't think it's fair to kind of like. I get that people wanted a better game, but like TCU was just outmatched at the point of it. I mean, there's only so much that they could have done. I mean, it's kind of unfair to say I'm disappointed that TCU wasn't bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not who they are.
This was David versus Goliath, but
Literally.
David had the. I mean, but Goliath had the slingshot.
It just wasn't no slingshots. It was just,
and he had the rocks.
You remember back when UFC first started and there was no weight divisions?
Yes.
That's what this was.
Yeah,
that's what this was.
Yeah, this was like Kimbo.
Bro, I turned it off after the first quarter.
R.I.P. Kimbo.
I watched the whole thing, but
I did too.
That was terrible.
I watched the whole thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Shout out to Blake and Joe DeLeon, Rufino and Joe. The only reason I really watched it all was because of their space.
Facts.
It was some comedy and there was some good conversation.
Yeah. That's why it lasted that long in the first quarter, listening to them.
Yeah.
It was a ugly game as far as like scoreboard stuff, but like I still want to. Georgia played damn good that game. Like
they did.
That's part of the reason why I watched, just because they was such a well-oiled machine that game. It's kind of hard to turn away from that. It was impressive.
Yeah.
All right, so of course, with this, Georgia becomes the the third team overall, and the second SEC team to go 15-0, the perfect season, win the national championship. Where does Georgia rank amongst all-time championship teams?
This
team here?
Talking about this team? Talking about this team?
Yeah.
Behind 2019 LSU, behind 2020 Bama, behind 2000 Miami or 2001 Miami. And probably right around.
I got them at 5. Me personally.
That's why I'm about to say right around probably there 5 or 6, either there or either before or after the Jimbo's Florida State team, somewhere around up in there.
No, I ain't even got Jimbo Florida State team in there. I got
that team was loaded, bro.
I got 2019 LSU.
I forgot one USC. That 05.
That's what I got. So I got 2019 LSU. I got 2001 Miami, 2020 Bama. I've got USC. I think it was the 05. Okay, yeah. USC 04. Yeah, 04.
That was the Reggie Bush team, Matt Lyon, right?
Yeah. USC 04, and then I've got this Georgia team.
So that's fair. About the same.
I would say the Georgia team from last year, in my opinion, was
the best team ever.
No, was better than this year's team.
I can't. I think
the defense. I think the defense was better.
The offense wasn't anywhere near as good as this year.
Right. I think defense was better last year. The offense was better this year.
I think this year's Georgia's defense is closer to last year's Georgia's defense than last year's Georgia's offense is to this year's Georgia's offense.
That's fair.
Listen, and a lot of people, can say, "Oh, y'all, the hate." And I said it, and I'm gonna say it, continue to say it. Georgia's secondary was so holy.
Somebody agreed with you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yes, my baby girl.
Yeah, Georgia's offense was so holy. So their secondary was so holy. So just so
holy, went to church 3 times on Sunday.
Hello, Dabo. Never mind.
Please don't.
Listen, so here's the thing. Cause we were talking about it. I think the night of or afterwards. Because people talked about Georgia's, because they kept saying when we went on for the love of the game, they were saying, "Nah, we hadn't getting up that many yards." So here's the thing: somebody broke it down. I think it was like Rex Ryan or somebody. What Georgia would do, they sit their secondary there so far back that everything would be completed in front of them, and they were good at tackling.
Yeah,
but teams that could stretch the field on them, Tennessee, which Tennessee didn't connect, but they could stretch the field on.
They had open guys though. They
right,
just
Tennessee, Kent State, which is funny to say, LSU, Ohio State. If you're able to speed and get past those that secondary and get deep, you were seeing success. So, boom, that's where.
And honestly, TCU, I'm not going. I was 4 years old, bro. I don't remember that team. But
Nebraska,
yeah,
good,
I was 4 years. I was 4 years old. Man. I know who Tommy Frazier is and Lawrence Phillips, but I mean, I was 4. But the thing is, TCU had opportunities, but it goes back to what Dugan just wasn't healthy. It didn't appear to be healthy. Like he had Quinn Johnson on a deep guy and overthrew it a little bit and got picked off. He missed another guy short on a deep pass. They connected on one where a guy was wide open for like a 60-yard pass, but it wasn't the same TCU team we had saw all year.
I mean, my thing is, even if he was healthy, he couldn't play defense.
But to a certain extent, though, your defense is on the field so much because your offense couldn't get a first down.
Yeah, but the first quarter,
you got the ball. Okay, let's go first quarter. You got the ball first. You went 3 and out. Georgia went down, scored. You got the ball again, fumbled. Georgia went down, scored. So you're down 14 or 10-0 before you even have a first down. How is that on your offense? I mean, how is that on the defense? They gave up one drive, and then the other drive, they actually held them to a field goal.
That's great. What happened after that?
They were on the field the whole game. You got 9 first downs, Daniel. 9 first downs.
You had
9.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had a turnover. They had a turnover on downs. They had some interceptions. Didn't they have a fumble as well?
Are you really putting this on the defense when the offense had 9 first downs?
Bro, I'm not.
9 first downs for a whole game.
Special
whole game.
Look, and no disrespect to Bud.
But you just said Max Duggan don't play defense.
He don't.
He apparently he didn't play offense neither. They only had 9 first downs for an entire game. That's 2 first downs a quarter. 2 first downs a quarter.
The whole team was trash.
The offense was ferocious.
It's
not even a word, but that's how bad they were.
I was about to say, I ain't never heard ferocious before. That's bad.
That's how bad they were.
It sounded like a real word for a minute.
I know. You don't get 9 first.
It did.
You don't get 9 first downs.
He remixed horrendous and
atrocious together. Yeah. You don't get
that's going on the shirt. That team is ferocious. All right.
Like 9 first downs, dog. Like, come on, bro. People get that in a quarter, and you don't get that in a game. Like, it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, the defense wasn't great by any means, but I can't fault the defense for giving up that many points whenever you couldn't even get 10 first downs.
Man, I feel you, but they all around terrible game either way.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. But
now I'll tell you who was healthy. Stetson Bennett.
Staquavius.
Yes, he got cut. You know what I'm saying? Got that fade.
Yeah.
Staquavius was ready for the game. I think, me personally, I think it's been a lot of overreaction.
Both ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? With Stetson. But the question has been posed. Is he the best? Because Matthew Stafford said he's the best. No, I'm sorry, not Matthew Stafford. Aaron Murray said that Stetson Bennett is the best Georgia quarterback to ever play at Georgia. Is Stetson Bennett the best Georgia player ever?
Nope. He's the most accomplished, but he's not the best. Herschel Walker's the best.
So Stetson got to run for Congress?
Talking about football here, brother.
I'm just. I mean,
talking about football here. But like,
do you think Stetson?
Herschel
Do you think? Let me ask this question: do you think Stetson would rather be a werewolf or a vampire? All right, let's go. Keep going.
But
I'm guessing that's a Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
I think like Stetson 2 titles. I mean, obviously nobody in Georgia can say that. But Herschel
nobody
Walker,
can really say that for the last. Nobody could take
56
last
years.
year. Yeah, 41. It was 41 last year. Was when they hit it, wasn't it?
What happened? Last year it was 41 years before they won one. Something like that.
They couldn't even send a text. It wasn't even on.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Still had segregation.
No, they didn't. Man.
Well, your math is terrible. I think Dylan was right. You don't know math, but
in some places.
No, but that was the 80s, bro. Stop it, man. But
he said someplace in Mississippi. We talk about Georgia.
Anyway, I think Stetson the most accomplished, but I don't think he the best by any means.
You think he gets a statue before?
He probably will get a statue.
I think he deserved one before Matthew Stafford, before Aaron Murray, and before all them.
Too.
So, and honestly, I gotta apologize to the guy because I've been dogging him. He ain't great by any means, but he's a. I'm gonna put this back. He's a great college quarterback. I put it to you like that, but I don't think it translates, and I don't think that's a knock on the kid for saying it doesn't translate. I mean, he's only like 5'11", so that's part of it is his his stature and stuff. Don't even do that, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because the NFL scout said if Stetson Bennett was 6'3", he'd be in the first round conversation. But since he's 5'11", he's probably going to go day 2 or day 3. So that's part of it. But I feel like
why you smacking your lips like that?
I feel like people are saying he trash because I see how you looking at me. I feel like people are saying he trash, and I'm not going to go that far. And I feel like people are saying he's like the greatest quarterback, I ain't gonna say ever, but people are saying he should have won the Heisman. He's a top 5 college quarterback ever, and all that. Like, nah, brother.
Who's saying that? Georgia fans?
Nah, it's more than Georgia fans saying that.
That's crazy.
Like, do you think he a college football Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
No.
I think he is. You win 2 titles back to back. That hadn't been done in 10 years, bro. And before
what was the quarterback who played for Miami?
Ken Dorsey?
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it. Okay, so who was the last quarterback to do it?
AJ McCarron did it.
Mm-hmm.
AJ McCarron?
Yeah.
Hall of Famer? College football Hall of Famer?
Did AJ McCarron have the numbers that Stetson Bennett had this year?
I can't remember AJ's numbers, but
numbers,
if I'm not mistaken, AJ
was a game manager.
AJ, nah.
Stetson wasn't a game manager this year, though.
Well, I don't know.
Stetson threw for 4,000 yards, dog. See what I'm saying?
I don't know. A Hall of Famer, though?
So I made this comment the other day because it was and part of it was a little bit out of anger, but a Georgia fan was saying that Stetson Bennett is better than Joe Burrow, and he, because he won 2 titles and Joe only won 1 and stuff like that. So my reply back was Stetson Bennett is AJ McCarron with a fade. Argue with your mama.
I agree.
Granted, the game for you against Ohio State.
Last year
he won. Yeah, so against Bama in the championship.
AJ McCarron can throw the heck out of a screen pass too.
That's true. So. But you know what I'm saying? My thing is, at the end of the day, Stetson Bennett is good. He'll get a shot in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be a great full long-term backup. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think he'll be a great long-term backup, and he can come in and help a team out.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I think Chase Daniels. I think he could be Chase Daniels.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean?
this is
Colt
my
McCoy
thing.
type quarterback.
You can't say that he's a Hall of Famer and then say that he's not one of the best to play
college versus
football,
NFL.
I'm talking college football.
How can you say he's not a Hall of? You say you can't say Hall of Famer and then say what?
So why not say that he's one of the best college quarterbacks? So what, he's just getting in?
I said he's a great college quarterback. I said that. He's not a top 5 college quarterback of all time just because he has 2 titles.
Not even close. I don't see it. I don't see him getting in. I can't see it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Pressure asks, so is Georgia a dynasty right now? We actually answered this last week. And then our next question is actually, can Georgia repeat? So I think they can. I don't think they will. I think they can. I think they'll
too, because they're gonna be in the playoff.
Yeah, they have the their schedule, lines up very, very well for them.
You just got to figure out who's playing quarterback. That's it.
Might need to figure out who's going to be the coach too, but we'll get to that.
I think the quarterback isn't going to matter as much because the running game is going to still be there.
That's true. And the system, the system.
You still got Brock Bowers. So, I mean, it's going to be all you got to do is have what they had in Stetson Bennett last year to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. D. Payne says he doesn't think that Georgia is a dynasty yet. D. Payne.
D. Payne.
I'm gonna ask you a question. They have been. They got not just that. They got back-to-back titles. They've been in the playoff conversation race. 3 of the last 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
more than that.
More than that.
Let me see. 2018 is.
They wasn't in 2020, so they've been in the last 2.
They won in 2019.
They won in 20. They won in 19. They weren't in 18. They were in 17.
LSU has been to 1 college football playoff. 1. 1.
What did he say? What did Chris say?
He said Georgia dynasty, LSU was 1.
Stop. Hey, if he's talking about 20 years, a 20-year run.
20 years, we got the second most, but I mean. That ain't no.
I don't think
so. Let me ask you for everybody who's saying
for a dynasty isn't spread over 20 years.
So let me ask,
unless you're winning it every other year.
Let me ask you a question because this going for everybody who say they're not a dynasty. At what point did you consider the Patriots a dynasty? Because they weren't winning them every year.
Facts.
At what point did you consider Alabama a dynasty?
They weren't winning them every year. They got one in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get one in 10. They didn't get one in 11. They got one in 11.
Technically,
yeah. I mean, depending on how you look at the thing, the what you call it. And then they didn't go back in 12 or they did 11, 12, and then it was off for 13, 14. Then it was 15. So
and they lost 15 because the 15 was the first playoff.
No, they lost 4. Well, yeah, yeah.
Either way,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They weren't like. They've only had one back-to-back, so they've always been in the conversation.
Right. And Georgia's right at the beginning of theirs, I think, if Kirby stays.
So, okay. So D-Payne said when they win that third. Okay. He said when they won the third for the Patriots question. Okay. He said when the Patriots win
Georgia has to win another one to be a dynasty.
Who's won 3?
So basically, Alabama's the only college football dynasty.
Chris says 2 championships in 40 years is not a dynasty. We talking about a short period of time. Sir, your food is warming up. Go get it. All right.
They made the college football. Georgia made the college football playoff 3 times.
In how many years?
In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
So 3 out of 6.
And they made 3 out of 6, and they made a championship every time.
Made the championship.
And you could say they should have 3 because if it wasn't for 2 and 26, they beat Alabama that year. You know what I mean? Like they really like one of the greatest plays in college football history away from having 3 in 6 years.
3 out of 6. Bro, come on. All right. A lot of people start coming out with their way too early. Top 25 for 2023. Do y'all want to? I don't want to do a whole top 20. Excuse me, top 25. We can do a top 5.
That's a tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Who want to take the or what you got?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Georgia, number 1. Michigan, number 2. Bama, number 3. LSU, number 4. Ohio State, number 5.
Okay. You want to go, Daniel?
I go. All right. I got Georgia, number 1. I got Michigan, number 2. I got USC, number 3. I got Bama, number 4. And number 5, I got Florida State.
All right. I got Georgia, Ohio State at 2, Michigan at 3, Bama at 4. I'm gonna say Florida State at 5, and then
my bad, Pooh. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think LSU is at 6, and I put USC at 7. I mean, I know we ain't asked for that for, but yeah.
I can't put Ohio State up there because I don't know who that quarterback is.
And CJ Stroud come back?
No, he out. He gone.
He's going to the draft.
He hasn't declared yet, though.
He hadn't? I thought he did.
No.
I'm pretty sure he did.
No.
Technically, you're right. Hold on.
CJ Stroud is not coming back, bro.
He ain't. Well.
He hasn't declared yet. That's Ohio State smoke. I'm just saying.
If CJ Stroud come back, that'll be the dumbest decision he can make.
I mean,
if he comes back, they number 2.
So if they don't come back, where are they gonna be?
Actually, if he comes back, they're number 1. They my number 1.
Nah.
So if he comes back, you don't think they?
No, because Georgia won a national championship. Georgia's not losing that much.
Yeah.
Ohio State's losing. They're losing.
Chris actually make a slightly valid point. Slightly, it's still a dumb decision.
Yes,
but
it would be dumb.
He said it wouldn't be done with NIL because he's not going to get as much. He's not going to get as much, but it's still.
Do you know how much the number 3 overall pick gets?
Yeah, way
it
more.
Ain't gonna get no NIL deal that much, bro.
Yeah, then all the perks that come with that too.
That's not happening, dog.
Hey, some people not motivated by money. Maybe he won a national championship.
Yeah, because he's gonna get that.
You already said Ryan Day a terrible coach.
He definitely is a terrible coach.
And so come back and forth national championship. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
They haven't won in almost 10 years. Yeah.
That's probably why the man he want to solidify his legacy.
Yeah. Me and Mike, you mentioned this but we didn't read it. It says me and Mike says Georgia has a chance to three-peat, but it will be extremely hard. I think USC and Alabama were the last dynastic teams. I think that is a real word.
Dynastic
teams to have a legitimate chance at a three-peat. Three-peats are extremely hard.
Yeah, but that's the problem. USC never had a chance to three-peat because in 2003 they didn't win the national championship.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, tell them we love them too. Let's shift gears a little bit. Y'all know how y'all ever talked y'allself out of something or said the wrong thing and lost something?
Talking about like sticking your foot in your mouth?
Yes, yeah. Sticking, you know what I'm saying?
Sticking your foot in your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Sticking 3 toes in your mouth?
Yeah.
Ooh,
so apparently Colorado and Arizona State were going to be having a week 0 game. Deion Sanders went on live broadcast during the national championship, said something about it, and that idea got nixed because there was a lot of uproar.
He texted, according like Herb Street had said, Colorado's first game is versus TCU. And then he came right back and was like, oh, I just got a text from Deion Sanders, and he said their first game is going to be a week 0 game against Arizona State.
But if I'm not mistaken, one Deion, I thought he was on the broadcast with him.
He was, but he didn't say it then.
Okay, he didn't say it.
It happened during the game, and he texted Herbstreit, and Herbstreit the one who actually said it. Well, because he did that, the Pac-12 was like, yeah, we ain't gonna let y'all do that no more.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, why would that give them reason to cancel a game?
Because the game hasn't been finalized yet.
Also, week 0. Hold on. Yes. Week 0 is
it has to be approved first of all.
Yeah, because it's typically for FCS schools and also anyone who play Hawaii or playing a team that plays Hawaii because of the travel situation or special situations like we had last year where
because Florida played a week 0 game.
That was Florida
State,
but Florida State played Duquesne and Duquesne played Hawaii.
Okay. Gotcha.
And also you had last year you had Northwestern Nebraska, but they played in Ireland.
Dublin, yeah,
they played in Ireland.
Okay,
and for travel reasons, that's why.
But they had the next week off. That's why they played a week early.
Same with this year, if I'm not mistaken, Navy Notre Dame is supposed to be a week 0 game. I think that might be this year or maybe another year. Also, a couple years ago, 2019, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2019. Florida played Miami. It was either 2019 or 2018. Florida played Miami because it was like it
wasn't 2018. Yeah, it wasn't 2018.
So yeah, because it was like the 150th year, and they want to have like the rivalry kickoff or something. So they made that a week 0 game. So there are special exceptions.
The 125th anniversary of college football.
There you go. Yeah, 150. 150.
Yeah, my bad. 150. Yeah. Andrew Martin says Deion could still get a week 0 game. Most possible opponent is Colorado State, who plays Hawaii. The only problem with that, Andrew, is the Pac-12 would have to sign off on it. And since Deion's already done stuck his foot in his mouth once, I don't see them allowing him the opportunity to have their game.
So you're saying they're doing it out of spite?
It's not out of spite. How is it spite? Like, see, this is the thing. There's a protocol and there's a procedure of ways to handle things. And if you speak before stuff gets finalized, stuff gets nixed. That's not out of spite. That's out of doing stuff out of the proper practices and stuff like that.
He is not in the SWAC anymore.
I mean, I think I know you just like joking in a way, but in a way that's real. Like he's not the most powerful person in the conference anymore. Right. You know what I mean? Like he can't just do whatever he wants to do. There's consequences and there's ways that you have to actually go about doing things. And I know he's used to being Deion and like, oh no, that ain't true. I'm gonna go ahead and tell him the truth. No, he's not. No, he's not. USC is the face of the Pac-12 and will be as long as they're in the Pac-12. But
he ain't even.
But like Deion, I know what I'm not gonna say I know, but he probably was like, oh, let me just correct him so he don't tell the entire nation, you know what I mean, the wrong thing. So let me just correct him and say, oh, here's the truth.
Coach,
you know what I mean? Like here we're really doing this. Not realizing that you just said something that ain't even been finalized yet. You know what I mean? Like that's not the way you go about doing things.
Hey, he said Chris said I'm saying coaches. He's still not the face of the pack.
Lincoln Riley is.
I say this too.
How many coaches do you see commenting on schedules?
None.
My point exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Because they don't handle that kind of stuff, so they don't speak on it because they don't know what's going on.
What's the TCU coach? The TCU coach stuck his foot in his mouth.
But he didn't say who he was scheduling. He talked about other people's schedule. He didn't say next week we're going to play this team, and this team. He just said we don't get to play. Who did he say? We don't get to play.
We don't get to play. Cupcakes in week 10.
Whatever. Yeah,
we have to play Texas. So, we know what you meant. But one was a BCS. Yeah. One was a BCS champion. One was a
one of them had the trophy.
One of them got crowned by the sports.
The way I look at it, you ain't the champion unless you got the trophy. That's why UCF don't get respect.
One was one on the field, and one was a paper.
That's why UCF don't get respect for 2017.
Yeah, so Fellas, have y'all been seeing this the crazy case of Jaden Rashada?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's wild, bro.
Walker Howard.
So Jaden Rashada, he supposedly left Miami because he was going to get paid $13 million at Florida.
Somebody forgot the decimal. I'm sorry.
1.3
billion.
And then Florida don't have the money to pay up,
supposedly.
And so I'm gonna let you say that allegedly. And so he's not on campus. He's supposed to be an early enrollee. He hadn't enrolled yet, and On3 reported that he asked out of his NIL.
Allegedly.
His daddy said, "Nah, we ain't asked out of the NIL, but no explanation."
And Jaden Rashada inboxed, messaged Hayes Fawcett and said, "Hey, where did y'all get that?" Or like, where y'all getting that from? Basically insinuating that what On3 ran about him asking out of his national letter of intent to be incorrect. I'll just say this: I don't know if he asked out. I don't know if they ain't got the money for him. I don't know if his high school really is just delayed sending the transcript. I don't know what the case is. All I know is something fishy going on, and I like it.
Go ahead, Dane.
Oh, I ain't gonna say it sounds like an NCAA investigation.
Hey, cool with me. Investigate him.
Sound like Billy ain't got no big britches to take care of his program.
I can't blame Billy for that one though. I know we want to. And as easy as it is for us to jump on and kick them when they're down, that's on Eddie. If it's true, that's on the collective and whoever made promises that they couldn't keep when it comes to money.
I ain't talking about the money.
They couldn't cash.
I ain't just talking about the money aspect. I'm talking about this roster management.
Oh, that okay. Well, yeah, I give you that. To that point, it ain't a good look for Billy and his program. You know what I mean? Like, they've been getting beat out for recruits they thought they had in the bag, and then you get a big flip from flip the kid from Miami, and then all of a sudden
we ain't touching that, Mike. We that was false rumors, man.
Yeah, false. False. It's about like USC's 2003 national championship. Yeah, false.
It's a myth. But
let me ask y'all this though.
Okay.
Let me ask y'all this. Okay, so if Jaden Rashada does not enroll at Florida, and I know you probably ain't gonna want to say nothing about it, but if Walker Howard ends up at Florida, does that cancel out the Jalen Rashada incident for Billy Napier as far as poor roster management?
No, not to me.
You mean you replace one 5-star with another?
No, he's Walker. First of all, Walker Howard was a 4-star. Can we get that? Can we get that consensus? He was a 4-star.
Some sites had him as a 5-star.
When the final ranking for every class had him at a 4-star.
Okay.
So if we're gonna do that for other people, we're gonna do that for Walker Howard. I'm just saying we're gonna be fair across the board.
Okay.
And so I don't think so, because it's what you always like to say, perception is reality.
Optics.
And so whenever the perception is that you're not recruiting well, especially in the state of Florida against Miami, Florida State, and Florida, for you to flip a kid from Miami, such a big win for you and your program, losing him just because you get another quarterback, that might replace him on the field. But how do you fix the image of losing the guy that you just got from? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel
let's
like
not forget that. Let's not forget he did pull that other kid's scholarship that got caught.
That other quarterback.
Other quarterback.
That's fair too. Yeah. So I don't. To a certain extent, on the field, it might fix it, but it ain't gonna fix the perception of him not being able to control things recruiting wise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, but hold on. We're gonna talk about that later. Go ahead.
All right. Moving on to LSU. My bad, I dropped my pen. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away. We say that all the time. Xavier Carter enters the transfer portal.
What we gonna do in next year's bowl game?
Say what?
What we gonna do in next year's bowl game?
Shots.
I don't get it. I'm confused.
Because he only really played the bowl game. Am I assuming that's what you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He only really played when we had opt-outs and stuff.
Are you talking about this year bowl game and the year before?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the only time I've ever seen the kid really play.
Bad.
Next.
I didn't mean that there's no disrespect to the kid.
It was very disrespectful. But yeah.
Walker Howard
Could've
into the
said
transfer
worse.
portal. Yeah, we could have. Come back to us, Desmond Little. But Walker Howard entered the transfer portal. And that caused a stir. That caused a ruckus amongst
the only third string quarterback that could make a fan base go crazy.
Reasons for his leaving been widely speculated. But of course, most of it came down to it's because Jaden came back.
The reason is Walker Howard.
Yeah. Should fans be worried?
No.
About what?
A third string quarterback. No.
Should we be worried about what?
Yeah. So
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. I am gonna say this.
Here we go.
Look, you cannot say that. I'm not blaming Jaden at all. I am not blaming Jaden at all. I'm not. But let's say that Jaden wants to go to the NFL. Does Walker Howard leave?
yes.
I'm not saying it's
I don't know.
I think he still would have left if he had. I don't think it was necessarily Jaden. It was the situation of having to sit behind Nuss.
I'm gonna just say this, bro. I don't know. I don't know if he would have left. I don't know if he would have stayed. And I'm not gonna play that hypothetical game because let's play it. Jaden goes pro. Nussmeier wins the job. Now he's got to sit behind Nussmeier for 2 years. Does he still stay? We don't know. What's the difference between sitting behind Jaden for a year and Nuss for 1 year, or sitting behind Nuss for 2 years? Because you're a second string? Because you're is that what it comes down to? Like, I don't like the whole if Jaden would have went, he would have stayed. Nobody knows that, bro.
And my thing about it is, if he was that talented, why couldn't he overtake Nuss in this competition if Jaden would have left or during the spring?
Hey, so here, let me say this. I'm glad you said that. I owe Nussmeier an apology.
Facts.
There was several times.
Think, Daniel.
There was several times where it was said that a quarterback was going to leave, and the first quarterback's name everybody said was Nussmeier. I was amongst that group, loud and wrong.
Fact, me too.
To say that Nussmeier was going to be the quarterback that's going to leave, and
it was Miles.
Miles was the first one out the door. Came back. Same thing happened this time. And everybody said Nuss was going to leave. Walker's the heir apparent. And Nuss came in and said, apparently not.
Right.
So my apologies to Nuss. He earned a lot of my respect. He has stuck it out. He has not been the entitled, I think I should start. He has been the I'm going to get out there and work. For sure. He looked like dog crap against Southern. And what did he do? He came back, he worked. He came back against New Mexico. Look very improved.
Right here, bro.
He came back against Georgia.
Damn,
very improved. And he came out against Purdue and looked very improved. Lots of credit to Nuss, lots of credit to the staff for believing in him, and for Nuss for believing in himself and sticking it out.
Putting that work in, for sure.
Putting that work in. So he possibly could, Chris. You're absolutely right. But guess what? because Chris says don't speak too soon. He could possibly leave if he loses the job against Jaden. Okay, he possibly could. But let me ask you a question. What sense does that make? If you're right now the number 2 and you're the number 1 has 1 year left max.
And well, all right, I'm with you on everything you just said, Poop, by the way, about Nussmeier sticking it out and when everybody thought he would be the first one to run and try to go start somewhere else. I mean, he's been loyal, and obviously the kid loves being at LSU because he could have left and he could have went somewhere else, and he decided to stick around. But I'll say this. I don't think Nuss going to leave. I don't know this for any minute, but I don't think he is, because like Pooh said, why wouldn't he have already left? I don't think it's about him. Oh, I got to start. I got to play. I think he wants to earn his starting reps, and I think he wants to play at LSU as a starter. So I think he's going to sit behind Jaden, knowing that Jaden got 1 year, and not just that. The way Jaden plays,
he could be hurt.
Let's just be real. He could get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you could be called in just like you was in the SEC championship game. But that could be, and I mean, SEC championship game and the week before against A&M, and that could be the 3rd game of the season where that happens. You know what I mean? You never know. So I don't think that I don't see him leaving. Yeah. Who is the number 1 at Bama? Number 1?
He's saying that he's basically saying that if Nuss goes to any one of those schools, he can be number 1. No, first of all, Chris, read a depth chart. Ty Simpson, Milroe.
He'll beat out Jaden Milroe.
You don't know that.
I know. How you know that?
You don't know that. Throw a ball?
Okay, let me say this. Milroe's what? Is he a freshman, true freshman, or redshirt freshman? What is he?
Redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Look at the jump Jalen Hurts made from getting significant play, because he, you know what I'm saying, because his freshman year to sophomore year. And a lot of people say, oh, he wasn't that good. He this, that, and the other. Okay.
Not on the Saban.
He made a jump, period. He improved on his passing year to year. A lot of people didn't like, and then when he got to Oklahoma, you know what I'm saying, better, way better passing.
Better, for sure.
Yeah, so please stop with the, you know, say, they. You don't know these other teams' rosters like that. Yeah, you seriously, I know for a fact Chris don't know.
Somebody told me Walker Howard would be the first starter, would be the starter over anybody at Alabama or Florida.
How do you know that? You've never even seen him.
That's my point. There's nothing that he's done to show you that. And my thing is, they say he's the highest ranked. Ty Simpson was in the same class and was ranked higher than him. You know what I mean? Like Brock Vandagriff at Georgia was ranked higher than him. Like, stop this, bro. Stop.
Wegman at Texas A&M was ranked higher than him.
I'm not saying it's bad neither. I'm just saying we haven't seen anything from him.
Yeah, it's higher than Walker. To sit up here
and say, I think he's saying not Walker. I think he's saying Nuss would be the number 1 in any of them schools. And he might would be, but guess what? If he transfers in the spring, well, after the spring, he's gonna be a spring behind Milroe. So that's less likely that he's gonna go take the job from Milroe. He damn sure ain't finna go take the job from Ty Simpson if Ty Simpson is the starter over there at Alabama. You're not going to Georgia and taking the job from Vanderbilt.
He could probably go to Florida.
Maybe, but if Jaden Rashad is there, they also got Graham Mertz and they got Jack Miller. I know Jack Miller was terrible in the bowl game, but I mean, we're going off highly ranked, right? I'm just saying. So Graham Mertz was a starter for a year, he was a starter at Wisconsin. So you're going against a guy who's been a starter at a Power 5 school before. So it's not as easy just to say, oh, I've seen him throw the ball. I know he's good. He can go be the starter over there. You don't know that, bro.
But then at the same time, doesn't LSU start classes next week? If they haven't already started this week?
Yeah, I think so.
So the odds of him transferring now is probably not going to
happen. So it's going to be in the spring, most likely. So that's what I'm saying. If he does it, he'll be a spring behind whoever is the quarterback one at those schools.
Right.
Man, anyway.
Chris, Graham Mertz was a starter for a season. Nuss has not started a game in his career.
I keep telling
y'all
you.
get out my boy there. Stop talking about this.
I keep trying to tell you.
How am I talking bad about this? Because I'm hating the fact that he had never started the game before.
I keep saying this, and I keep telling people, y'all think, and when I was saying it, people thought I was being, you know what I'm saying, being a hater. It is a lot different being the starting quarterback and coming off the bench.
That's true.
It is a lot different. It's a lot easier to come in and rip that thing and just, you know, throw all over the field.
TJ Finley.
Bingo.
Max Johnson.
Yeah, that's part.
Brandon
Harris, to a certain extent. All of them. All of them, bro. Like, that's the thing. When the defense isn't used to what you're doing, it's going to be totally different, bro.
For sure.
Yeah, so I got one for you. Matter of fact, here's the crazy part about it. Tua against Georgia. And then the next year, Jalen Hurts. Georgia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Georgia went is crazy because they knew they had film on and still weren't ready for it.
It's just mental, bro. I think it's a mental thing.
Well, that too. But not only just it's part of it is that, and part of it is when you go against a certain quarterback, they've been drilling this in your head. You know, they've been drilling this in your head.
Everything.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it switches on a snap. And it ain't like you know what the other stuff was for whenever he was the quarterback, but you got this in your head. It take you a minute to actually, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, look who back. Look who back. Rich back. I own your soul.
God.
He talking about I own your soul.
We about to block Rich talking about Alabama was a top force even with
don't block my boy, man.
Listen.
You see that comment right there? That's gonna get you blocked.
Bama is a top four school with two
losses. No,
Rich. I don't know where you been. I don't know if you got scared. Happy New Year to you.
I was crying because Alabama didn't make the
Nah,
playoffs.
he mad because Pooh kicked him out of space at that time.
That's the thing. I've never seen Rich.
Well, he shouldn't have came up in there doing all that unnecessary moaning. Or
now,
only
time I've ever kicked anybody out of space is if they've come in there moaning or saying something stupid. Yeah. If he came in and did that, yeah, I'd kick you. You deserve to be kicked out. But no. Yeah. Oh man, I understand, man. But anyway,
what?
Pause. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, all right. Keep it moving. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question though. Can we just not get into this? It's crazy. Should the staff go to the portal and get another quarterback?
No.
No. Well, unless you have a quarterback leave.
Right. And then you still have time in the summertime to do that anyways, too.
Is Ricky Collins an early enrollee?
That's a good question. I don't know.
So if Nuss leaves, I don't care if Ricky Collins is coming in. You still go get another quarterback with some kind of.
If Nuss leaves, Ricky Collins will already be here by that time.
Yeah, by that time. The reason why I asked.
Go ahead.
I'm saying for the spring coming up, you want
more than two quarterbacks. I got you. You still got some red.
I think you got some. Yeah, I think you got some walk-ons too.
Yeah.
If Falk's still on the team,
I think Matt O'Dowd is.
Okay. So if Nuss leaves,
we got Malik Neighbors too.
You got Ricky Collins, who's a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jaden Daniels.
That's when you go get another quarterback if Nuss leaves.
For sure. Yeah,
that's why I said
we're on the same page.
Matter of fact, if Nuss leaves, honestly, I would probably get two. I know that's hard to do, but
I don't know if I would do that. I mean, because you gotta look like these quarterbacks know you got a starter. These quarterbacks know you got a starter, so it's gonna be hard to get two to come in and to fight for the backup.
Yeah, I'm just
saying. Can I add in a question?
Go ahead.
How often are we gonna? I mean, should LSU fans be used to this? Should we get used to this?
Yes, this is the trend.
You said, can you add a question that's on the docket?
It's on the topic.
It is.
Yeah, you asked that question.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I ain't see it. My bad. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
But nah,
we already here now.
Yeah, but should get used to this? Yes, and I'm not. Let me say this before we throw out because of transfer portal. Transfers have always happened. Yeah, now, with should we be used to it because of kids wanting to start early and not want to sit behind? Yes. Should we be used to it because kids can transfer and start or play immediately somewhere else? Yes. But it's not because there's a transfer portal. That's not the situation.
So, yeah, I mean, LSU fans, honestly, we should have calluses right now. This has happened almost every single year.
Yeah.
Like for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, we have. And that's why I said you take a quarterback in every class.
Yeah.
And I know people were saying we shouldn't take a quarterback this class because you don't want to scare Walker away and all that. Well, look what happened. Exactly. So you take a quarterback in every class in case one of them transfers or in case one of them don't pan out. You got another one right there on your roster ready.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. People talked about blaming. So we talked about led off talking about blaming JD. And we agreed, no, the JD's not to blame. Should Brian Kelly be having the blame for this?
No.
What? That's my question. Like, what you blaming Brian Kelly for? I don't know what it could be for saying Jaden can come back.
For keeping it gangster?
The only thing that I would say is the people who kind of blame Jaden in a way for coming back. I guess they could say Brian Kelly to let Jaden come back. But how do you say no to a guy who just won you the West and you know what I'm saying?
Second most productive quarterback in LSU history.
Hey, I know we won the West in 10 games, but nah, bro, you gotta go and keep it moving. Like I don't know what you like. It's a lose-lose situation for Brian Kelly at that point. You got to bring him back, and it's another thing. Jaden is a sure thing in a sense. We know what we're gonna get out of Jaden. We don't know what. I know a lot of people hope and think Walker can be, a great quarterback and the savior, so to speak, and all that. But we don't know if that's the case. We've seen a lot of 4- and 5-star quarterbacks look good in high school and then come in and look terrible in college.
For sure.
So I just feel like if you BK, you got to take the sure thing in Jaden over taking Walker Howard.
Speaking of those 4-star and 5-star quarterbacks that look really good, shout out to the Duck Hunters, Duck Commanders, and Miles Brennan.
He wasn't terrible.
He wasn't terrible.
Great.
He wasn't great. Tell me about them 3 games. Somebody gonna say,
"Boy,
3 games." I know you're not.
I know you're not. Look, I'll say it like this. Y'all know, like I like Nuss. Nuss is my guy, but I also like Jaden too. My thing is, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those guys. I like the fact that we're getting a guy who won us the SEC West. Like Pooh just said, he's the second most productive quarterback in LSU history. Why are you wanting that guy to leave if he has an extra year to play? That makes no sense to me.
Because Walker Howard.
I do want to. There's something else I was going to throw out there. People seem to forget. The blame, and I should have brought up when they was talking about that. People seem to forget that his dad, Jamie Howard, who is a LSU quarterback in his own right, was kind of open about not really wanting Walker to come here because of the stuff he went through as a quarterback when he was here.
Right.
Yeah, some of the abuse by fans and stuff like that, which is crazy because the kid ain't see none of that until he decided to leave. Then all of a sudden, that's whenever you saw what you didn't want to see from this fan base. So crazy.
What's so crazy is any college he goes to, that's going to happen. I hate the fact that people think that LSU is the only school that talks crap about their players. That you in every fan base, you're going to have toxic people. That's going to happen.
Shout out to AD because I like the way he worded it. I like the way he worded it last night. LSU don't have the exclusive rights to a toxic fan base, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But
it's everywhere.
Hey, Daniel, did you know Jaden Daniels threw for more yards this year than Miles Brennan did in his whole career?
Really?
It's interesting.
It's pretty good. I mean, Miles was here for a decade, so that is.
I know. That's pretty crazy.
Miles was here long enough to vote twice in a presidential election.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
All right. So we're talking about transfer portals and stuff like that. Well, fans, some of y'all can actually get a little bit happy because the NCAA make a ruling change on the transfers. You can now have the one-time transfer, no sit out, and then after that, you cannot transfer all willy-nilly. You have to sit out unless it's like
it's a mental health injury related, or there's some kind of like abuse or sexual assault or something like that. And they actually, the family thing, it didn't even say that that's a guarantee. All of that's going to be on a base, like individual case by case basis. Coaching changes was not on that list. Playing time, all that not on that list. So
that's beautiful.
My question is, and I'm gonna try to look it up and see if I can find it.
JT Danny clause.
That's really what it is. My thing is, what about the transfer down, transfer back up?
Oh, that is a good question.
Transfer to FCS, and then you know what I mean, will you be able to do it immediately? Play right there.
Yeah, because that used to be the loophole back in the day.
Yeah. Fellas, moving on to the NFL. Unless I missed, I've been looking to see. This Black Monday was kind of quiet. Black Monday for those coaches. For head coaches, yeah. Black Monday is typically the Monday after the end of the first Monday after the end of the regular season, where most teams' head coaches would be fired. So there were only two: Lovie Smith and Cliff Kingsbury. Nathaniel Hackett had been fired already. He should have been.
Had been fired already.
Matt Rule had been fired already.
So that's why it was so quiet this year, because there was kind of unheard of 3 in-season firings.
Yeah. You got with that being said, all right, fellas, we can. I do want to. Yeah, we'll touch on these. David Shaw. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say real quick. I mean, are the Texans pulling a Golden State? Where they're hiring coaches and stocking draft picks.
Golden State.
Yeah. Who was the coach that coached before that current
Mark
coach?
Jackson?
Yeah, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson got those guys, then the other coach came in.
No, because the Texans.
That's a terrible comparison.
Yeah. So here's the problem with
the Texans. It's a question.
It's a terrible. But see, I ain't gonna say terrible question. Terrible comparison.
It's a comparison. I get your question. I just don't think those two correlate, because Mark Jackson was hired after they had already drafted all the pieces. You see what I'm saying? Like, whereas the Texans still have the picks. You know what I mean? That they're trying to do something with. So it'll be more like after Boston traded KG and Paul Pierce to Brooklyn, and they were terrible. And that's whenever they hired Brad Stevens. That's where they at right now.
Yeah. So
with now let my analogies.
All right. So with the Texans, let's talk about them for a second. The Texans, this will be their under their GM, which I think that's who needs to be fired. If he hadn't already. This is their 4th head coach in 4 years.
It's nuts, man.
Correct.
The last 3 have been but yeah, because it is 4 because they Bill O'Brien, Cromell,
Cornell was the interim.
Yeah, but he was still,
Yeah, and then McCauley,
and Lovie.
Oh, so you're saying this will be their 4th?
This is their 4th. Like this, the
one they hired.
They've
already been through 4. Oh, but you just named them.
They've been 4 in 3 years, but they finna have 4.
Yeah. So he's already seen 4 head coaches, and a year he's basically doing like a year and getting them out. There's no way you could build any kind of a team or anything, any trust that in that time.
Sure. The system. What kind of system are you building?
Well, I say this. The Bill O'Brien thing, I get. And then I get Romeo Cornell was just interim that year, so that's the reason why you let him go. David McCauley should have never been hired. No disrespect to him, but nobody else was trying to hire him for a job. I feel like the Texans knew what they were trying to do. They knew it was a year where they was pretty much just finna write it in, mail it in. And
I'm gonna tell you my theory too, what happened too.
And then so they just went with a guy who was just gonna take the job because nobody else really would want it because they knew how terrible of a job it was gonna be. Right. And then last year they fired McCauley because they really didn't want him as a head coach. And they were gonna, if y'all remember, they were finna hire Josh McCown.
Bango.
They were finna hire Josh McCown, but then the Brian Flores stuff came out.
Bingo.
And they were like, oh, hell no, we can't hire Josh McCown now. So they went and hired a black coach who had enough experience and resume.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. He said the Texans did fire their GM. Yeah. Good call.
They went and hired a black head coach who had a resume that people wouldn't be like, oh, why are y'all hiring this guy? Lovie Smith got a good resume. So that they went and hired him just so they could kind of stay under the radar when people wouldn't accuse them of hiring Josh McCown over more qualified people and stuff like that. And now that the smoke done blew over that, they're gonna fire. Well, they did fire Lovie Smith, and they're gonna go get the guy they really wanted. And I'm not saying it's Josh McCown, but I'm just saying they've been hiring these last two coaches the past few years just to get them through the season because they couldn't really hire nobody else.
Josh McCown's, do you know his coaching experience?
It was high school, wasn't it?
He was an assistant.
Yeah, I know it was high school.
Volunteer assistant at the high school level. Yeah. Now, and this could be a topic for another day. I know we all have. There was some with Deion going from saying starting at Jackson State and stuff. I know there was mixed feelings and emotions about how he left and how he handled the program. I mean, how he handled the situation. But it's sad that Deion even has to go through any links that to coach and move his up and prove himself when you got a guy who's assistant on a high school level is thought to be ready to take an NFL job.
Yeah, that's more on the NFL job, people.
Yeah, and then you have a guy who's a special teams coach that says, yeah, they can handle it and be a coach, an NFL coach. So.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was wide receiver coach, McCauley.
No. I ain't talking about McCauley. I'm talking about Joe Judge.
Oh, yeah. Well, McCauley was the Baltimore Ravens wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
Of all teams that you're going to go hire that wide receiver coach, the Baltimore Ravens?
Right.
Bingo. Thank you, Chance. And I always forget about him. Jeff Saturday is another one who had no coaching experience.
I don't forget about him. I'm just waiting to see how that plays out before I bring it up. Because everybody told me I couldn't say nothing because it was an interim job and all that kind of. I need to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So, interesting enough about the Texans. I know we kind of run a little long. Somebody, and I mentioned it earlier about Georgia. It depends on if they have their coach. Kirby Smart is interviewing for the job. That's one guy they reached out to. I don't know if that's just
for a raise.
Yeah.
Please give him the job.
I don't see him leaving. That's his alma mater.
Yeah,
I don't either. Especially right now at the peak.
Yeah.
I mean, Saban left at a peak, but
that is true.
But it wasn't his alma mater. That's the only difference to me.
That is true. I hate you, Saban.
Another person who I think is just being interviewed for optics or for a look. David Shaw is being interviewed by the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
This is definitely a Rooney Rule situation. Yep. If he gets the job, hey, I'll come on here loud and wrong. This is definitely a Rooney Rule situation. Other people rumored to be interviewing Sean Payton. There was one more. I can't think who it was. Wasn't there one more for the Broncos job?
For the Broncos, Jim Harbaugh.
There you go. But yeah.
I can see Jim Harbaugh probably getting that job.
I think he mentioned before. I can see him more at Indianapolis than.
That's what, yeah. But I think for the Texans, I know this is one of our next questions, Pooh, so I'm gonna go ahead. I think that's where Sean Payton should go.
No, we are. I already brought up Kirby, so yeah.
I think
where will Payton end up? Yeah,
I think that the Texans should be to where he should end up because they got a lot of young talent. They got a good running back in Pierce. They got Stingley. They got a good tight end. They got good little pieces. They got the number 2 pick in the draft, and they got Cleveland's pick in the draft, which like 12, I think, something like that. And so, you can get some good young, and you got Cleveland's picks for a few years, with the Deshaun Watson trade. You got cap space. You in a division that's got, besides Trevor Lawrence, I mean, who you competing against? Indianapolis ain't got a quarterback. Tennessee is falling off lately. So it's a young team, a lot of money, a lot of picks, and no GM right now. So you can bring Jeff Ireland or whoever you want, because he said he wanted a strong GM. So you can bring somebody like that with you, and you can run the place.
I mean, then from the Saints' perspective,
he out the NFC.
Yeah, you get some good picks too.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably get. I don't know if they're not giving you the number 2 pick, but you might get the number 12 pick. You know what I mean? Or you might could get what the number 2 pick in the second round this year, and like Cleveland's first next year or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Which would still give you 2 picks in the top 40 of this year's draft, and then 2 first-round picks next year. You know what I mean? Sure. So there's ways about it. Now, Chance does make a great point. The Texans don't have a stable owner, but at some point in time, he gotta want to stop being like, you know what I mean? Like he gonna have to want some kind of consistency with his franchise, don't it? At some point, you would think.
You would think the NFL would probably step in too.
Yeah. And see, Andrew, that was what I had been saying all year. Sean Payton was rumored to be interested in the Chargers job. It's possible since Staley could get canned after a loss on Saturday. They got to get blown out by the Jags, I think, for them to fire Staley. And that's the same with the Cowboys. I feel if Dallas gets beat bad by Tampa Bay, Jerry might fire Mike McCarthy. But if they win, they're not firing Mike McCarthy. And I think the same goes for the Chargers coach.
I don't know. I think you got to look at. I mean, what Sean's looking for. Is he looking for a quick run, or is he looking for a complete rebuild? Because with the Texans, I think it's going to take time.
But I don't think the Texans are a complete rebuild because I feel like they've already started the rebuild 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Now they're halfway through their rebuild. I think they're 2 years away. I think they're 2 years away. And if you draft Bryce Young or whoever you want as your quarterback with the number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You draft whoever, and then next year you groom them, and then the following year is when you take off.
I like Bryce Young too at number 2. Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? Either way, I feel like that's. I don't know. We gotta see how this weekend play out to see if the Cowboys win, to see if the Chargers win. Me personally, as a Saints fan, this is what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Jim Harbaugh to sign an extension with the University of Michigan to take him out the running. I want Mike McCarthy to get fired, and I hate saying it like that, but the Dallas job to open up, and then it was one more thing. Jim Harbaugh.
You said the Chargers?
No, the Chargers, but yeah, that'd be cool too if the Chargers coach get fired. I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, I need
if they win.
I need the Chargers to lose, so they'll fire their coach. I want a bidding war if I'm the Saints. I want as many teams as possible with a head coach and open. That way teams will be like, oh, I want Sean Payton. No, I want Sean Payton. So then you drive that price up.
Right.
All right,
Makes
fellas,
sense.
let's look at the playoff picture. Wildcard weekend.
Some week games this weekend.
You said some week games?
Yeah, but we've hadn't every game already been played this year? Every one of these is a rematch.
That's true.
Yeah, but
every one of these is
it's the playoffs though. It's the playoffs.
But they were some good. They were still some good games. So you got Chargers, Jags, Ravens, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills, Cowboys, Bucks, Giants, Vikings, and Seahawks, 49ers.
2 good games.
You got a couple.
What 2 you see?
The Jaguars and the Chargers,
and
the Cowboys and the Bucks.
I think the Giants-Minnesota game would be good.
I agree.
Possibly, but that's the only other one. Because
I'm missing some game or something, man.
No, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Buffalo.
I also think Seattle. I think Seattle.
We're talking about playoffs
too, though.
Man, Seattle ain't beat.
No, Seattle ain't gonna win that. What you need?
I better quit sleeping on Gino.
Huh?
Anyway.
No.
But let's look at this. Let's look at the matchups. All right, Chargers, Jaguars gonna be a good game. Baltimore, Lamar not playing. Miami,
Bengals all day. Yeah,
Miami, Skylar Thompson playing. Nobody will care. Like the Chargers
and Miami, they playing in Buffalo, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Skylar Thompson playing as their quarterback.
Yeah, it
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Right. Seattle, like Geno is a good story, but they outmatched, man.
We gonna get to that too. Who? Okay, so we want to pick winners real quick. We ain't got to pick score. All right.
Yeah, we pick winners.
Jags, Chargers.
Chargers.
I'm gonna go Jags. I think. I don't know.
I like the Chargers.
I think Doug Peterson's experience is the difference.
I think that cross country trip is gonna mess up the Chargers.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Bengals or Ravens, Bengals. Dolphins, Bills.
Question is, do they cover? Not who wins.
Sir, can you? All right, Cowboys, Buccaneers.
Cowboys.
I'm going Buccaneers.
Just because it's Brady effect.
They've been better. They starting to get a little bit better passing. And Dallas is been having troubles in their secondary. Vikings, Giants.
That's a tough one.
I'm going Vikings. Yeah, I think Jets go off.
49ers.
Yeah, 49ers.
I'm picking
49ers
Seattle.
in Seattle, so I'm going Niners.
You going Seattle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like it.
I think Purdy gonna stay. Keep riding this thing. Pause.
Major.
So, I think Purdy continues his big run.
Dan, you screwed. You and Nick picking alike. You screwed. You ain't got a chance to win now.
All right. Let me ask y'all this: what's y'all Super Bowl matchups looking like? What you got?
I got the Bengals.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say I got the Bengals and the Eagles.
See, originally before the season, I had said Baltimore and the Saints.
Yeah,
I would like a mulligan on one of them.
Jesus.
But now, I would say Baltimore, but Lamar hurt, so I can't go Baltimore. I'm gonna go with
Nick. Say Bills and Eagles. How the Bills gonna make it? They ain't gonna make it past next round.
Yeah, I'm going with that boy in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. And we're gonna have a rematch from a few years ago because the 49ers going back.
Ooh, okay. I'm with Daniel. I'm going Bengals, Eagles. Bengals pulling it off this time.
Joe Shiesty. All they need to do is protect him. If they give him time,
pressure say Bengals Vikes.
Ooh.
I don't know if the Bengals make a pass next weekend though, man.
Yeah, they'll have to I don't think
it's gonna be a hard throw.
Nick got Bills, Eagles. And who you said rematch, who you got winning?
I'm going that boy, my homeboy, man.
Okay. All right.
My homeboy.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna say we table the MVP.
All right, for Sunday.
Oh, yeah, for Sunday. I'm gonna table the Geno too. Because that's my altar call. That is my altar call too. Y'all want to touch on this Odell real quick?
Yeah, we can.
It can be quick.
All right. So this was probably a couple weeks to a month ago. Odell Beckham tried to take a flight. He got on the plane and went to sleep, or the stewardess basically said that she thinks he was under the influence. She tried to wake him up. Yeah, tried to wake him up, couldn't get him up, and stuff like that. And they basically kicked him off the flight. Basically made it, and from initial stories it came out, it seemed like he was intoxicated, and or so because
under the influence.
Under the influence. The video has come out, and more of the story came out. Apparently, Odell got on the flight and immediately got in the seat and went to sleep. I don't know if most people who fly, a lot of people do that, especially if it's an early flight. I've done it several times.
I pop me a Benadryl, right? Hey,
I don't even listen. I get on. I I put my headphones on. I'll wait till they do their little safety brief. Throw them headphones on. I put my shades on, and I'm out. I tell the person next to me, I apologize for snoring, and I'm out because I already know what's going to happen. I know it's
your shoulder.
Yeah. You know, I know what time it is.
I think Odell's was a case of he in first class. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He feel like I'm afforded some extra luxuries here. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna go sleep, and then I feel like the attendants, the staff attendants or the flight attendants kind of did a terrible job of handling that situation. Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of overreaction. I want to commend the officers who came on board and who didn't see an issue or a problem being altercation or anything being made, no scene being caused or anything. So the first thing he said,
the first thing the officer said was, there's no problem. He's not
bothering anyone. Yeah, right. And so I do want to commend them for diffusing it and basically like you wasting our time here. But I feel like it was just poorly handled by the airline.
Very poorly handled.
And I feel like it kind of goes to the second part of this question, Daniel. I feel like because of Odell's history and his track record and like some of the antics that he's done in the past, the net and all that kind of stuff, and then the hotel video that came out with him and the woman, all that kind of stuff. I feel like because of all that's came out, the headline was worded a certain way and tried to make him, because everyone would believe that he was causing the issue or he was acting up in some way or he was doing something. And it's one of them things where it was like he really wasn't in the wrong, but because of everything he's done in his past, he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for the video, we would have never. I'll tell you this. The only thing that I think he should be embarrassed about is he didn't have to call that old man fat. He didn't have to do that. He was cracking on that old man, bro. Like, besides that, like, I really do believe it was
that's the Louisiana in him, though.
It was.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you woke me up and get ready to kick me off a flight, I'm saying everybody getting these jokes. Everybody.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably would have said something a lot worse than what Odell said, to be honest with you.
But then at the same time, if I'm the passengers, I'm pissed too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you delaying my fight and all this for nothing, pretty much.
Right. But I'm more pissed at the staff than I am Odell.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, come on, like really, it's uncalled. It's still Odell Beckham. I don't care what you say.
Yeah. So what I would have done if I was Odell is I would have tried to find that staff's schedule and I would have bought every ticket on the next plane.
That's petty.
I'm just saying I would, and then let's take off. No, I ain't ready yet. Hold on, y'all. I ain't ready yet. You know what I mean? I would have been petty right back to him.
All right, we can close out with this. I don't even
basketball talk. We can skip it.
All right. Well, let me say this:
women's are killing it.
Yeah. They just won again tonight. 20-point win. They're ranked as high as number 5. The question I had about them in the beginning, they were winning, scoring 100 points and doing all that, and it looked good and it sounded good, but they weren't. No offense to the competition they played, but they weren't playing top level competition. Now they're in conference and still dominating.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more and more of a believer. Daniel, you said Angel Reese gonna lead us to the promised land on last episode. She didn't have her best night tonight, and we still won by 20. So, yeah.
I'd say this. They're number 5 in the country. They heading in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And
a couple weeks we'll find out.
I'm still not, February 12th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm still not on the we gonna win the national championship this year train. But I feel like even if we don't, we building a foundation where it need to be to win it next year in the year. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So I feel like we heading in the right direction. We probably still a little further ahead of schedule than we should be as a program. And my main thing is temper expectations as a fan base, because we're not supposed to be here right now.
We're not.
Like, so even if we don't win the national championship, if we make it to the Final Four and lose, it's not a failure of a season. You know what I mean? Like, so that's my main thing is just appreciate where we was at and where we at now in this year and a half, how far we've came, you know, and kind of just enjoy the ride. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And just enjoy this team for Angel Reese and Flage and Morris tonight with what 5 of 5, 6 of 6 from 3 or something, you know what I mean? Like Alexis Morris, like just enjoy the fun that this team having together, and let's not try to Final Four bust or national championship. You know what I'm saying? None of that kind of stuff.
We can get into that next year.
Yeah, facts.
I'll tell you like this: Kim Mulkey can flat out coach and
recruit too.
And recruit, man. She's probably one of the best coaches to ever come through LSU. I'm saying she's one of the best. I didn't say the
you
best.
Could make the argument. Best. You could make the argument.
She ain't better
that. Well, she's not better than Skip Bourbon either. She's not.
She ain't.
Not Daniel. Stop it.
I got
stop it, Daniel.
I don't have facts to prove it, so I'm not saying nothing.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro.
I'm not saying anything. Go ahead.
But I'm about to say, you can make the argument that other than the 2 greatest coaches in their sports ever, arguably skilled. Nick Saban is the GOAT. But other than them 2, she's the greatest coach LSU's ever had in any sport.
That's fair. We didn't. I'll say this: the men struggling. We'll say that. But
hold on, before you move too far on that, same thing with that. Let's temper our expectations.
For sure. We knew this.
Yeah. Like, I know we got excited after we saw them beat Arkansas when people were saying, we're a tournament team. Why aren't we ranked? You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. Then it came back down to earth a little bit. And this is it's okay, because we knew this was going to be one of these type of years this year. You can't let what they be saying, Daniel, don't get as high as your highs or as low as your low. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, you get a big win. You get a big win. That's not where your program is. You lose to Florida. You lose to Florida. You know what I mean? At home, that's not as low as you are as a program. You know what I mean? You're somewhere in the middle. So just temper your expectations. Give McMahon time. Give his team time to gel. He ain't even got his players in there yet. Like, and we might not make the tournament this year, but that doesn't mean this season is a failure.
We still got some other stuff hanging over their head too. So
yeah.
But
yeah.
The NCAA is talking, or I'm sorry, it approves a proposal to expand the NCAA tournament to 90 teams.
I hate this.
I do too. Because
how many is it currently?
64. 68 because you got the playing game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This allows because how many
20 it's okay.
How many programs?
25, it's 360. So it would be 25% of all participating teams would make the playoffs. And it's not just for basketball, it's any sport where there's over 200 participating schools, which would be baseball and maybe softball also. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with expanding the field by 22 teams if this was what would happen. If every conference regular season winner and every conference tournament winner got automatic bids. So that would be 64 teams because there's 32 basketball conferences. So if you had 64 teams of automatic bids, and then the other 26 teams are at-large bids, I'm fine with that. But what I know is finna happen is they finna keep the automatic bids the same, and you're gonna have one bid leagues for like the SWAC and Conference USA and Sun Belt, them smaller conference. They only gonna get one team in, and you're gonna get a 5-12 Wake Forest team out the ACC to make it in over a team that went 27-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna let the big schools in. And so I feel like if you made every conference get 2 teams in, and then after that, filled it with big schools, I'm cool with that. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna have one school per conference for the small conferences, and the Power Five is gonna get half that conference in, even though they don't deserve it.
Yeah, I'm good on this. Too many.
And that takes place what, next season?
If I'm not mistaken. And see, that's the thing. All right, so they got like a whatever committee, they proposed it, and then the board of directors approved it, but each individual sport has to like put it into play for their sport. You see what I'm saying? So
gotcha.
Just like just like what you finna talk about now, Pooh, for the baseball, the coaches. You know what I mean? Like they approved it, but the baseball, whatever, the committee for baseball for the NCAA has to put it into effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So you brought it up. Go ahead with it.
Yeah. Something that baseball fans have been complaining about for the longest time. They've only had 2 assistants that have been paid for forever in baseball. You got the head coach, 2 paid assistants. Well, they have the NCAA passed the rule, and this goes into effect July 31st of this season. Of this year. So in this summer, baseball, all schools, all baseball programs will be allowed a 3rd paid coach who will get full benefits and stuff like that. So I mean, they've had a lot of schools have had a 3rd coach. It was just voluntary, grad assistant type, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So this it's a help, but not LSU so much, but like smaller schools, this will really help them be able to compete and keep some coaches around and stuff like that. So it's been a long time coming, and like Chance Babbitt says, 11.7 scholarships has to go soon too, and I agree with that. I just don't know how you work it in with Title IX.
So here's the crazy thing about it. You know how they were paying coaches, or those coaches got paid? They would hold camps and paid camps, and they would be able to keep the proceeds from the camps. That's the only way they would get paid.
That's wild.
If you ever look at, like, I'm gonna use ULM because it's right here. They'll have multiple camps in the summer. They'll have 2 days. They'll have a morning session and an afternoon, so they can maximize how many kids and people they could get, so they can make as much money as they can.
That's crazy.
Very crazy. Very crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild, man. It's something that's archaic. It should have been done away with. They actually voted for it. I forget when, and if I'm not mistaken, it had to be a unanimous vote, and there was always like one school or somebody that was turning it down.
Yeah, I will give the NCAA credit though. It seemed like they trying to kind of do what's common sense, in a lot of senses. Transfer portal, this situation, they came out with something saying that all Division I schools must have the proper resources for mental health and stuff like that for all athletes. They made it to where you have to provide medical care 2 years after they graduate. You have to allow them to come back to get a degree within 10 years after they finish playing and stuff like that. So the NCAA is doing some things that I feel like nobody's going to talk about because we all love to bash the NCAA. But whenever they do the right thing, we got to give them credit for it. And mental health, making sure people get degrees, making sure that they get surgeries and whatever lingering injuries taken care of and stuff like that without coming out of pocket for it. Stuff like that, they need to get credit for making sure that the athletes are getting taken care of. So kudos to the NCAA.
I will say this is amazing that this is happening now, and Mark Emmert is leaving. So
I was just about to say that. Yeah,
I wonder how much of that
the new guy,
if he was kind of holding some of this back.
Yeah,
possibly, or in a sense, he could be like, I'm about to leave, so
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and push all this through before I leave. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Sure too. So, All right. Well, fellas, it was another good one. This one ran kind of long, but we'll be back. Pause. Why did
time flies when you're having fun, bro?
Yeah.
I ain't even catch that one, Pooh.
Yeah.
We said this one kind of long.
Yeah, big pause. But we'll be back Sunday. We'll discuss. We can at least talk about some of the playoff games. The Bengals games will be on, and we'll have to wait because the Cowboys and
Monday
Buccaneers play on Monday.
Have you ever had a Monday playoff game, or is it just because it fell on Martin Luther King?
Is that the reason why they playing it on Monday?
I would assume
for MLK.
I mean, not for MLK.
I mean because MLK. Yeah.
Because people are off. That's the only reason I would assume. But it says 7:30. So like, what's the? I don't know. No. Then you gonna put Brady on MLK? No man. Go ahead.
I hope he lose. I hope he lose. Good God Almighty, I hope he lose. Anyway,
me too.
I had a dream that Tom Brady lost.
Oh man! All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to thank y'all for watching, tuning in. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all was here with us, and we appreciate that. We'll be back on Sunday. And hold on, Andrew. No NFL. He said no NFL is all about money. Yeah.
Nah, not the NFL.
Oh, speaking of it, not just the NFL. Do y'all remember when the NBA did the for the Atlanta Hawks and the NBA did the MLK jerseys, and then they had his face on his court? No. They had they was like, it's 3 days till MLK Day, and it was the number 3, and number 3 at the time was Horter, like one of the only white guys on the team. Yeah, tone deaf, man. Tone deaf. But anyway, man, like we said, we'll be out back on Sunday.
Subscribe,
like, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, all platforms, and we'll see y'all, man. We out.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot, on Instagram at Golden Boot, on YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod, on Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!